Appreciate y'all for pulling up. I'm your host, Gabos. We got another one, y'all. We got the most disturbing family content on TikTok. Don't ask me how I found this video. Just know your boy be doing some research. Let's get right into it.
Read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly,
When you have
after
a
making do for
one-bedroom,
nearly 3 years
6
now, I have
people.
nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. Generally, the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything
First
I've been through in the
off,
past 3 years,
6
there's very little
people,
I
one
have to judge
bedroom?
people. I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive. And like I said, I have learned a lot. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have in one bedroom of some of these houses I see, and it would really look like nothing. We try to teach our kids to take care of what they have, be grateful for what we have. We keep praying and pushing for the growth that we want. Appreciate y'all watching. See you in the next video.
I did feel like that one Goofy movie meme where Max enters the house and is like, damn, bitch, you live like this? Because, damn, bitch, you live like this? Now, before we get started in the video, I want to be clear. This is not an indictment on them and their financial situations. People are actually poor in America. They live below the poverty line and they have to make do with what they have. With that being said, some of these people's actions, their logic, their reasoning, and their justification as to continue the bullshit that they have going on is something that has to be talked about. This is the Resilient Jenkins family, a family that doesn't deserve any bit of praise or recognition at all, but hey, we're going to cover them on this channel. They're a family of 6 going on 7. The mother is pregnant with baby number 5 in this situation here, and they live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And again, this is an indictment on the financial status of these people. It's their decision making and their choices. When I grew up, my mom told me the stories about how she and her siblings grew up in an apartment of 1. She also has about 4 to 5 other
That's
siblings
crazy,
at this
bro.
time. But the
I'm not
difference
having
is
6
her
kids and living in a
parents live
1-bedroom
living
apartment.
room, and
Like,
the
that's
kids
wild.
got the bedroom with a bunch of different bunk beds. That's not the case in this situation. Both of them had kids outside of the relationship. They came together and started having more kids. The parents get to sleep in the room. The kids sleep out in the living room. The parents' room has a whole TV, a PS5, and a regular bed, and the kids have foam mattresses on the kitchen floor that they have to share with cats and like that. The dad does a bunch of gig work and spends a bunch of time outside of the house. And that's going to come up later as to why that's important, because it's just going to tell the tale of how much of a deadbeat he really is. And the mother is a stay-at-home mom for a bunch of poor excuses, but we'll get into those as well. Now, they're both recovering addicts who met in some sort of rehabilitation center, but none of that's stopping them from continuing to do drugs today. Like, while she has the baby, she is still actively taking drugs by her social media accounts. And 2, there's nothing stopping her from doing any sort of work that would most definitely contribute to the house in a meaningful way. But instead, she spends her time, like all these family influencers do, begging people online in order to pay for their lifestyle and make her some sort of mommy influencer. And I'm not a fan of this type of content at all, but the reality of it is that it exists. But the main thing about this family content is, before anything, you have to take care of your actual family.
I've never heard of a mother influencer. That's kind of new. Absolutely baffling me that my beautiful kiddos haven't gone viral yet. 2 years and counting. Babies, we got this. Eventually, mama will make our dreams come true.
I'm not like you other girls.
People using their kids for clickbait.
See, I'm very cute. See, I'm very demure. Demure.
And if you're making entertaining and engaging content consistently, for sure, most people are going to make you some sort of influencer. But it's not something that you beg your way to being. Maybe in 2024 it's different. But this woman is so against the idea of working that even if it comes at the risk of harming her kids in the household, she is willing to not do it in the search and hopes for social media clout and fame.
I'll be fine. I'm completely and utterly fine. I'm fine. I am fine.
I'm fine. I'm always fine. Don't you know that?
Sure.
Remember what I said here. The cat has a skin infection and the cat is sleeping with
That's
these
fucking
young
disgusting.
babies that are susceptible to being sick and have a weaker immune system than adults. All this could be mitigated if they just decided to change their lifestyles up by having the parents be out in the living room, or hell, give away the cat. But no, the parents live a life of luxury. I know that's strange to say in this regards, but they're in their room comfortable with a television and a bed and a PlayStation 5.
Come on, man. We gotta have the PlayStation 5.
They moved into this space back when they just had a small amount of kids, but now they continue to keep growing, keep smashing, and keep making this some sort of game on TikTok by saying, hey, if you make me an influencer, I'll give my hubby another kid. It's actually disgusting work. But the problem is they can't control the outbreaks that are happening in their own damn home. They have months of lice and fleas to the point where it was uncontrollable.
What the heck?
Lice and flea outbreaks in homes can be detrimental to the long-term health of kids. We're talking about the psychological, we're talking about diseases, we're talking about infections being passed along.
I always
This isn't the New York
say-
City streets. This is a damn home. It's supposed to be
I always say, bro, like the fact that there's no credentials required. Did I just change my? I really just changed my view. Hold on, boom. The fact that there's like no requirements to being a parent is so detrimental to just the human race. Like where just anybody can start families. Like I'm calculated, bro. I'm in my 30s. I don't have a kid yet. I'd like to have one before it's all said and done. But just, yo, bro, just flashbacks of high school, bro. One of my biggest fears was just having a kid at an early, young age and not being able to take care of them. The fact that there are people that rather just have kids and figure out how to take care of them after just baffles me. And then they just keep having kids, although they haven't figured out the first step in how to take care of one kid. They add 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's like, you're putting yourself in a financial crisis, but then leaning on the internet to come to your rescue?
somebody's comfort, somebody's protection. But you can't even get it under control. At least alleviate some of the problems by putting your kids in the damn room and you sleep out there with the cats since you decided that you need to have them.
Now you listen here, you walking pile of panic attack. You're gonna inhale, exhale your way through this bullshit if it's the last thing you do. Your thoughts aren't real, your mind hates you, but you're...
The reason why I hate this family content is because it's putting to the side the safety, health, and well-being of the kids in order to make some sort of influencer out of the mom. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know how this drug addict, deadbeat father, etc., is supposed to make good content, but that's the hope and prayer for them by mom sitting on live begging for people to follow her, begging for people to basically build their lifestyle all day and all night.
Before Christmas? People are so fucking cringy, bro. People are so cringy.
Let me see you get gone. Baby mama, this your song. Been pregnant for way too long. Now tell the DJ turn it on.
At some point, CBS should step in because this is a person who does not take the health and well-being of her kids and her family very seriously. When she does decide to get pregnant, I think she should stop having babies as a whole. She doesn't even listen to the doctors recommend that she doesn't do certain things to avoid complications with the pregnancy.
I have no idea how far along pregnant. Far enough along that the nausea is at its peak though, so that makes me think I'm about 7-8 weeks-ish. So this will be my 6th time being pregnant. I've had 2 miscarriages, 3 babies, and this is number 6, so we're gonna find out. We're praying for the best, of course. We're believing for the best. Regardless,
My thing is, what is the point of still having more kids though? Like, what's the, like, bro, I ain't gonna front, like, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to judge them too harshly here. 2 miscarriages, 3, like, what's the point of having more kids if you haven't figured out how to take care of the 3 that you got right now? What's the point of just recklessly creating these lives?
I find it goofy that when you're into your like 3rd, 4th time in a row, you really should not be getting so many questions by the doctors or like, you know, we highly recommend you don't mess with the cat box. Can you recommend to my cats they don't shit then? That would be great. Stay away from too many herbal teas. I'm gonna drink my teas, thank you.
I'm not a doctor at all, but I think that maybe there's some sort of connection to the habits that you have, you know, the continued drug use, the kitty litter use, you know, the disgusting conditions that you have in your household could probably be linking to some of these miscarriages or complications that you're having with your pregnancy. I don't know. I don't know. I may be jumping out the window with that one. I don't know. Now, the internet is trying to decide whose fault this really is in the grand matter of things, but ultimately, I'm here to squash all conversations. It is both parents' faults. And then there's a third party involved that people aren't necessarily thinking about that could be at fault here. And I'm here to say, yes, you, the people that are consuming this content, engaging and ultimately donating, are involved in being complicit in enabling the behavior that they are displaying on the internet. I saw just the other day that somebody sent the kids some bunk beds. Kudos to them, but damn, do not give them an out. Do not give them some sort of way to get out of working hard and providing for their kids. And it wouldn't even be hard work. Woman, just get a job.
So I decided to look up everything in regards to the whole the resilient Jenkins family in Oregon and Portland and their standards of stuff of care and everything what you're supposed to. Off the bat, each child is supposed to have their own bed and own mattress that is adequate for their size. That's just the standard. That's just what they want. And when it comes to housing, usually it's supposed to be 2 per room. So in their case, you can, if the youngest child is like 3, you have to include them. But if not, because they can kind of sleep with their parents, it's supposed to be 2 per room. There's 3 kids. One of the children is not related to the other children, which I think that comes into bed sharing. So there would need to have at least 2 rooms for the kids, essentially. But being that they're going to add more children in, they're going to grow up, they're going to need at least a 3-bedroom, 100%. Like, there's no way around that. And also there's a way for the parents to have a room as well, because that is obviously extremely important to the parent to have their privacy, but it's not. But anyway, each child must have their own bed. They cannot bed share with someone that they are not related to. So no, the rolled up foam mattresses that come into play and come out of play during the day is not up to standard. I don't know if the apartment complex could get in trouble for this or the parents could get in trouble for it, but it is in violation.
It's like,
also,
hold on. It's like you're struggling financially. It's like kids are expensive. You're struggling because you have kids. Why are we having more kids if we're struggling financially? Bro, like, it's just ass backwards.
I looked up if there is a program, because here in North Carolina there is one in certain counties where people will donate a bed to you with bed framing and I think a mattress as well for a child, free to the parent, no cost to anything. They do that in Oregon. I did look it up. They do that in Portland specifically. I looked that up as well. So for the father to say that they don't have beds because they broke them, I can see where people are saying the financial literacy is not there. The irresponsibility is there.
It's not there.
Because as a parent, I'm a parent of 3 boys. They have broke their beds several times. I have replaced them several times. That's just that. That's the law. And there is no excuse for them not to have replaced their beds. Yes, they broke them, but guess what? You still have to replace them because you're a parent. Children are expensive. They are not inexpensive at all. I did see on her wish list, they put a toddler bunk bed, up there. Someone did purchase it. That's great, but that's only for 2 of the 4 children that you have. Why didn't you put 2 bunk beds up there? Why haven't you looked into programs of replacing your children's beds if you cannot afford it?
Now, she did bring up a couple of good points, and I did want to address some of them. For one, even though you are potentially close to meeting the standards that Portland sets out for housing children, that doesn't take into consideration that you are bringing in prolonged health risk into their lives by having the cat urine be all over the place, by having lice infestation and flea infestation, and by also having moldy laundry be in the house for long periods of time.
She even put the caption moldy. Wow, bro. Why can't it just be like, yo, cleaning day?
Second of all, it is amazing the fact that there are so many government programs, communal assistance, hell, even churches and schools provide these different incentives and programs for people to take advantage of. She can go to the Goodwill and get a bed frame or the Salvation Army and get some bedding for little to no money. But these people don't take any advantage of that. Why? Because I think that they think it is cool to film this type of situation to put it on social media in order to trick people into believing that they are in more help or more need than they actually are in. And then they can get the sympathy and the pity that turns into views and turns into dollars. And then third, but certainly not least, these kids do need their own bed. I can't stress this enough because there's a video out there running around of the dad saying, well, they broke their bed, so as a punishment, they have to go without beds. No, that's not how that works, especially when you have a bed. Kids do things, they damage things, they harm things. This is a basic necessity for them to live in the USA. And to act as if this is something that could potentially come up out of their pockets, and I'm talking about the parents, it's crazy because like we stated earlier, you could just go down to the Salvation Army and get you a damn bed. But what they're hoping for is that she'll make an Amazon wish list, people will provide her with the things that she wants and needs and desires, and everything will be taken care of and nobody really gives a shit. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the dad in this situation because he is just as much, if not even more, of a player in how bad the living conditions are.
Word.
I don't know his name. I don't know anything about him. I just know 2 things. He's a deadbeat who doesn't want to work. And the reason why he's a deadbeat is because it has been discovered that he has a whole nother child out there.
Hi, I'm the first baby mama. I'm absolutely embarrassed at the fact that that's my sperm donor. I will not be posting my child on here, but my son is almost 12. That man that everybody's saying they have 2 loving parents walked out of his son's life when he was 2. Hasn't seen his son since he was 5, and that's because I reached out to him to come to his kindergarten graduation. And at the time, he only had 1 child.
Damn.
Little black boy you guys see in his videos. That's my oldest's little brother. Now, my oldest doesn't even know he has 2 other siblings. So no, they didn't meet when he had 1 child. He probably has more. He hasn't paid child support, but he has a PS5. I feel bad for those kids. Because I never not wanted my son to not know his.
Are we really surprised he don't pay for child support but got a PS5?
And he asked, and I've tried. And his son
Yo.
asked, Mommy, I just want to know my dad. Why can't I see my dad? When that happened, I reached out to him. He read the message, never replied. So I had put my son in counseling just because I knew it was bothering him, and there was nothing that I could say that was going to help him.
That's crazy.
Him, your dad made choices, and he chose to make those choices. It has nothing to do with you.
I have the one other child, Anthony. I've been paying child support via garnishments ever since I can remember. I worked at a W-2 since I was 18, 19. Worked night, multiple jobs, never made above 22 an hour.
Like jobs that worked your body to the bone?
Yeah, I worked retail, I worked overnight, I worked at Home Depot, I worked at Jackson's, I worked at Grocery Outlet.
Now, naturally, because the dad is getting defamed in this situation for having a secret child that he's not involved in, he had to respond, and his response doesn't necessarily help any situation. He's basically avoiding W-2 jobs, and he keeps referring them to as W-2 jobs, which only the people that know why somebody referred to them as W-2 jobs would know why he's referring to it as W-2 jobs, is because he is avoiding his wages being garnished by the government for the child support that is owed. He comes up and admits that, but these people blow my mind because they are so baffled, and some of the internet is baffled as to why they are receiving such harsh criticisms. And it's not because they're poor. It's because they are intentionally neglectful of their responsibilities because they feel as if this is going to make the best story and best entertainment for the internet. I think this is one of the more extreme examples of the situation at hand. But to be honest with you, the way that people use their kids as props for the internet, public humiliation, trying to get clout, trying to get famous is actually disgusting.
I don't know if any of y'all have seen this viral video, but you know, everybody parents different, to each his own, right? But in my opinion, I think what he chose to do for his daughter's punishment was entirely too extreme. That is too much. Like, I think he could have just did the whole outfit thing and that been that. Bro took all her stuff out of her room and everything like that because she skipped a class. And by the looks of it, I know the whole world has skipped class before. I know it. So it's like, you have to give a punishment that matches the crime. You get what I'm saying? Like, parents nowadays do not be understanding that that is how you drive your child away. You have to break generational curses. Do not be that toxic parent that treats their kid like this and punishes their child in a certain way. That's how your kids don't come to you for nothing or don't want to be honest with you.
And maybe this is some of these
Facts. That's a good point.
To their kids more, but honestly, it comes off as downright disgusting, and it has no place to be on the internet, especially because they don't think of the long-term ramifications as to what happens when they have this internet documentation of the events that happened in their home. What happened when the internet saw me grow up with lice for the past 5 or 10 years of my life? What happens when the internet is calling me one bedroom cat piss boy? They don't think about those things that have happened. But we now have proof and evidence, because the internet and some of these things have been around for so long, of kids speaking up as to what happened when the cameras were off, the small times that they were, and what happens when they grew up in these situations.
The first round of vlogger kids from the 2010s have grown up and are sharing their stories. Let's talk about one story. She said that the mom broadcasted her first menstrual cycle. The kid got into a car accident, and instead of the mom comforting the kid, like, oh, baby, it's going to be all right, the mom put a camera in her face. The kid said it got so bad that when she was 12 years old, a man that was stalking her based off of her mom's YouTube videos decided to message her on Facebook and follow her home at one point in time. The kid would hide in the bathroom to avoid being videotaped and photographed. The kid was also bullied at school because they're into
I ain't gonna front. It's like, it be stories like this that make me just, and mind you, I'm someone that was raised by like a single parent. Like, my mom was like the only figure I had in my life. But like, my mom, like, being a Haitian immigrant was just, it just makes me appreciate how I was raised. Although we didn't have much, my mom was definitely not a clout chaser. You know what I mean? My mom was definitely not one of those people that did the most. She wasn't selfish. She was selfless. And it seems like modern day parents nowadays are just willing to compromise or sacrifice their own kids for clout. Like, this addiction for clout ought to be studied, bro. Like, the fact that you got struggling parents. Well, back in the day, it used to be shameful. If you were poor, people used to be ashamed of the fact that they were poor and couldn't figure out life. And they worked hard to get themselves out of that kind of situation. Now, people use being poor for clout and sympathy to just, like, you try to use sympathy to get your way through life. Oh, just feel sorry for me. Even though I'm the one making these decisions that put me in this situation. It's not like, I love how people act like life just happens to them and they don't contribute at all. You don't contribute to your misfortunes, right? Life is just happening to you. Oh, you've only been working at Walmart, Kmart, Best Buy, this, that, and the third. How about getting an education? How about go back to school? Matter of fact, how about you teach yourself a skill? I mean, all these things are out there for people. We all have the same 24 hours. But rather than teach yourself something or put yourself through a course that could develop some type of financial gain, you know, a lot of people rather you fish for them and then give them the fish rather than them teach themselves how to fish and then pass it on to their family and then so far and so forth. These people want to be saved. There used to be shame that was associated with struggle. Now, people are using that shit for clout. Shout out to my mother, bruh. Call it traditional, call it old school, but my mom, blue collar. Blue collar. Nothing was anybody's business. Our family business was not the internet business whatsoever, bro.
Posted on the mom's YouTube for their family vlog. The kid got a staph infection at one point in time, and the mom exaggerated the condition so bad that the math teacher who was watching the mom's videos told the kids to, quote, stay away from the infected girl. And that ain't it. The kid is saying this is a digital footprint that she did not create, and it's following her around for the rest of her life, and that is why she is fighting and seeking laws similar to the ones that govern child actors. One, for just compensation, and to protect them as well. This is why we keep saying y'all need to stop pimping y'all's kids out, because they're gonna grow up and go on CNN and talk shit about you. Put the
content creation isn't a very lucrative avenue. Now, granted, I'm not there, but there are content creators like Kai Cenat, iShowSpeed, the FaZe Collective that make millions of dollars on a monthly basis based off of just showing their daily life. Casey Neistat is another one who went about vlogging his family for years and was able to become a millionaire based off of content creation. But the thing is, you have to show parts of your life, and these people don't realize that you can show how much of a nasty person it is when you can or can't pimp out your kids based off of the ability to make content. If you're making your family decisions based upon the content, then that's where I think a lot of people are going wrong in this situation.
Crazy.
We are not adopting from Thailand. Whoa.
Sorry.
You know, we are still adopting. We're just not adopting from Thailand anymore. So
You want to explain why?
So here's the situation.
He's giving me
Thailand
simp
has
vibes.
its own law that's unique to it. That after you pick up your child and they're your
Hold on,
child.
time. I just read this. Nikki Philippi canceled child adoption because she wouldn't be able to use the child for content.
You are not allowed to talk about them or share any images, photos, videos, anything about them online for a year.
Nikki's got a YouTube channel. We share a whole lot.
Wait, hold on. When that hit, we literally
Yeah.
What?
So you're telling me you couldn't put aside the content for a year? And I'm not even talking about totally putting aside the content. I just mean there's one aspect of your life. You couldn't talk about that for 1 year and help somebody who is potentially in need because fame, clout, and wanted to be somebody that's bigger than what you are. That is so... That's ridiculous as fuck. I talked about on this channel, CJ So Cool allegedly going broke from his channel. He doesn't even post on the main channel anymore that has 9 million subscribers. But the reason why is because his content was so revolved around the kids that when the kids were no longer in the situation, nobody wanted to be around him. Nobody wanted to watch the videos anymore. He couldn't create content based off his own personality.
CJ So Cool fell off bad because after him and Royalty had got into it or whatever about the kid, which was really his main source, his only
Wasn't he the one that got shot?
When somebody takes the kids away from you, they automatically take over 75% of your income from you, which you are used to making. That's first of all. Second of all, if you turn around and then you start getting loans on money that's not there and you're not good with money management, you're going to automatically fall off. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I fell off real bad.
Not just the loans on a channel based off of his family's endeavors, but when the people remove the family from the aspect, you have nothing. 70% of your income is tied up in the family.
Wow.
It's insane. But that is basically what the Resilient Jenkins and any of these content creators are doing. And it's not just the income impacts that I'm trying to get across to people. It's the emotional and psychological damage that can be caused upon these kids that should be taken into consideration as to why you should not be doing this. Oftentimes, it damages relationships between the parent and the kid. And I can acknowledge when there have been good situations where parent and kid have made up because parent has acknowledged what happens in the kid's earlier life and apologizes.
Absolutely, baby. When my mom found out she was not playing all that shit, she truly wasn't. And she made amends. My mama completely did different content that was not tailored around her kids. She moved on.
But a lot of these parents don't get to this point because they are blinded by the finances that they have for this short amount of time. Look, I think content creation is very liberating. I think that it can bring another income stream to your household. It can fulfill your wildest dreams. However, I think that there's a give and a take, especially when you put your life out there like that. And these people that are willing to subject their kids to even worse standards than they need to be to create content should honestly have CPS called and involved immediately. Not only is it not fulfilling their wildest dreams, I guess a bunk bed or two is their wildest dreams, which is insane, but it's also damaging the kids in the long run. This is the worst family channel I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I can't even.
Bruh.
Just, I don't know. Like, I just think when it comes to family content creation, to each its own. You know what I mean? Some people will say a reaction channel's pretty cringy. Oh, you just sit there watching other people's content. So you're like taking other people's content and it's like, what the fuck ever, bro. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But my opinion is that family content shit is kind of cringe, especially when you're exploiting your children to the vast majority of millions of people that watch content. I just think, like, yo, being a parent, having a family is real life. There's barely any entertainment in that shit, bro. And if there is, it's all manufactured. Everybody knows not every day is fun, especially being a parent. And I don't got no kids, and I know that. So to exploit your kids for clout, or to just not want to work, not want to do anything, and just want the internet to save you as you're continuously making poor and more worse decisions financially. One kid is expensive. Your broke ass gonna go have 2. Then after you have 2, you want to have 3, 4, and then you cry to the internet to be saved. Like, I don't understand these people. And as far as like the other family, like this woman right here, just I don't get it. But as far as the second family, you didn't adopt the kid because you couldn't use them for content. That is about the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, bro. So it's no longer about saving a life. It's no longer about giving a child with no parent an opportunity at a healthy life. It's all about clout. It's all about how I can monetize. These are the people that are out here applying to adopt kids. You're basically, the standard is, hey, if we can't monetize off of you, yeah, you can stay in the orphan. You can stay in the shelter. But we're not going to Taiwan. Yeah, we can't make money off of you. We can't make money off of kids, so therefore we're not adopting anybody. Those type of people shouldn't be able, again, there's just no rules to this shit. I could go on and on, but this is disgusting work. I try not to judge people, but some people deserve it. But this was the most disturbing family content on TikTok. Jeez, bro, what a time. What a time. Like, I used to knock my mom for how hard struggle was. And then I seen this shit. I'm gonna holler at you guys next video. Hit the like and subscribe button, man. And it's crazy too, because the modern day parents are my age. These are people that were born when I was born.